Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another podcast here on Fearless Games. I'm Matt the Vet, and today I'm joined by...
James the Wildcard.
Welcome back.
How's it going?
Pretty good. How you been?
Good. Greetings from North Carolina.
Yes, you are now in North Carolina.
Yes.
How is it in North Carolina? Where in North Carolina are you?
I'm in Mooresville, which is also known as Race City, USA. And that's like around, I would say, a 40-minute drive north of Charlotte.
My brother's over in Zebulon.
Gotcha. And it's not bad. Yesterday at night it was a torrential rainstorm. It was pretty sweet. But
Yeah, it's been raining everywhere.
Yeah, but like it was out of nowhere. All of a sudden I look out the window, I hear something, and all of a sudden just, I'm like, hey!
Hey now!
I'm just so happy it's not snow.
Yes, no more snow. Bad snow.
Yeah, so that was a thing right there. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad. I'm all settled in. Just gotta find that job now.
You don't need a job.
Oh, yeah, I do.
No, you don't. You're into school.
Yeah, but I need a job to pay those bills.
Nah, school is free.
Oh, yeah, sure, totally.
And the school is free passing bill. Didn't you hear about that? Where everything is free as long as you pay ridiculous amounts of taxes.
Nice. Well, I can't pay the taxes without a job.
Well, then you get it all for free purely.
Nice. Go me. I win at everything. But
yes, you won the internet.
So I got a random question.
Okay.
What, if anything, do you have a taste aversion to?
A taste aversion?
Yeah, something where, like, you can't either eat it too much or you had it and got really sick, so just the thought of it, or you smell it, you can't eat it, it just... Or when you do eat it, you have to, like, force yourself to. It's something that, you just don't want to deal with anymore.
Let's see. Food-wise, peas. I don't like peas. Drink-wise, Red Bull.
Red Bull. See, Red Bull's pretty disgusting, in my opinion.
It is gross. It tastes like liquid Smarties, and that's just not good. Which is weird, because Smarties in general are tasty.
They are. And it's, I had a Red Bull, and I've had other energy drinks, and it's one of the worst of the tasting. At least the original. I haven't had the fancy red can or whatever it is, but it doesn't taste very good.
Have you seen the news on Forge World's open day?
Yeah, the Lancer, I'm not liking it.
You're not liking it?
The legs seem too long. I get what they're going for, but it looks like an ad.
I think that's the regular. Isn't that just the regular night kit?
I don't think it is because they have an extra.
Oh no,
bend.
There's an internal piece in it.
Yeah, there's an extra joint bend, kind of like a Zealot from Protoss.
There's an extra bend. I just see the open cockpit. You can actually see inside the thing.
Yeah, same thing with the regular Knight.
Oh, you can?
Yep.
I don't own a kit. So.
Me either, but I've seen pictures. And the weapon's cool, whatever. It's the legs feel like I can't tell because
I'm not seeing an extra bend in this picture. It looks like it's the same.
From what I can tell,
I think it's the bend is less dramatic.
I don't know. The Lancer's supposed to have an inverted leg type deal.
Let me take I'm going to pop open it so I can compare official.
Yeah.
But continue your thought.
The way it's posed, to me, it looks like it has an extra bend in the leg, at least from what I've seen from regular Knights. But I haven't seen them side by side, obviously, so I have no idea on the legs or the height. But it feels like just from the way the pictures are taken, that it's going to tower above the regular Knight, even though it's supposed to be a sleek, less armored version of it.
Okay, let's see here. Okay.
Yeah. It's an added.
No, it's the same. It's fairly the same. It's just that they gave it its legs have like a double joint thing.
That's what I mean.
And they made it where it's posable.
Has a zealot, like where the regular Knight has a regular human leg, and the Protoss.
No,
it does.
The Knight has a reverse joint.
No, I'm looking at it right now. It's got a regular. It's got a regular joint where the Lancer has two joints on its leg.
It's a bend, definitely. It's got the wheel thing. The Knight actually, what it is where the knee piece is, they made the top part of the leg movable.
Well,
whereas
the Lancer has a different leg setup. That's based on the fluff in I have the Codex and the Companion, and based on the traditional Lancer, it is a different leg. The top leg is a different leg than the top leg of a Knight. It's supposed to because it's a fast attack. It's supposed to be able to gallop quicker, so it's got a longer stride.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it seems like it may be taller than the regular Knight, which is not a big deal, but it doesn't have the bulk. It looks a little bit too Eldar-y, in my opinion, with like the lack of bulk because its legs are so tall. At least in the picture. Now, I can't wait to see one side by side a regular Knight.
When Forge World officially releases that, you know they're going to do it.
Yeah, but I'm upset that it's Forge World doing it. The thing I really wanted was the Knights to stay GW, aka plastic. And the reason for that is brick and mortar stores inherently carry GW, and most of them don't really supply Forge World. A decent amount of them don't even have the Forge World ordering on their store unless they are a big gaming store where they do wargaming in the store. Yeah. And it's just, it makes it harder to obtain a Lancer, not by much, but enough, especially if people don't want to order it online. And that means that the rules are probably going to come through Forge World. And not a bad thing, Forge World has good rules, but there are 4 Knight variants. 4 main Knight variants. And the fourth one, I forget the name of it. I think it's Crusader or something. And that is a big heavy weapons type of... It's basically a heavy weapons guy, but in Knight form. And with that, now that makes me wonder, is that going to also be a... Forge World thing? Or is it going to be a GW thing? Yes, the Crusader, and then there's 2 others, but really the big 4 are Paladin, Arant, Lancer, and Crusader. The Crusader's going to have guns everywhere. Because guns everywhere is always cool. But I was hoping that GW would have made a supplement book for this codex in the future that would have had the 2 variants and maybe some war gear options. Just to spice it up. But now that it's Forge World, it means that if Forge World's doing the variants, it's going to be another, 2 years before you see the Crusader. Because Forge World moves a little slow. Because they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. But overall, it's cool. I don't know, have you had a look at the Codex at all for Knights?
No.
I like it.
I do not. I've been saving up for the Astra Militarum.
Yeah, those guys.
It's the Guard.
No, it's not the Guard.
Everyone knows. Even
Militarum
articles.
Tempestus is not just regular Imperial Guard. They are basically
I'm not talking about the Tempestus.
Yeah, but I'm talking about them because they're awesome. But no, your guard
just
guys...
like them because you want stormtrooper armies.
No, I'm not going to repeal them. But no, your guys are basically, but they're just expensive to buy. Because,
the $50 Codex.
Yeah, but no, your dudes are expensive to buy.
My dudes?
Well, at least what you were texting me the other day. I was looking at the models, and it's...
Which one? The Thrax or the Noise Marines?
All of them.
The Cacophony. Well, they're not too bad.
No, but there's no real change. There's nothing really, like you said, to really help you go, well, these guys are this much compared to these guys.
Yeah. Well, the other difference is if I go with the Thrax, I could use them right away.
Yeah.
I could just, bam, Ogrins, go.
Right.
The Cacophony, I'd have to wait till I make a 30k army before I could field them.
Yeah, wasn't there a third one you asked about? I forgot the name of it. Oh, you said...
I think that was it. Let me go back to our conversations because phones save text messages.
They do. I just remembered that.
Let's see. I'm torn between.
Horus.
Oh, Horus.
Yeah.
Horus. Horus. I'm not thinking of now because of the exchange rate change. He's now $120.
Ouchies.
Yeah. For anyone who isn't aware, Fulgrim, he's 55 British pounds. That was $70 when I bought him last year. He's now up to $90.
Huh. So yeah.
The US dollar has gone down.
Yeah, so let's hope that changes.
Because I'd like to pay another, 70 is fine, but 100's a little much for a single model that's slightly bigger than a Terminator.
100's a little much for a infantry model.
Yes.
Especially, that if it was like Forge World Avatar size, a little bit more reasonable. But when something's just basically a big Terminator, it's a little much.
That's got me curious now. How much is the Avatar?
I don't know, but no, I own the Imperial Knights Codex, and I bought the Imperial Knights Companion for science, so I can read it and then talk about it.
Science.
Well, so I can talk about it for the Fearless Gamers. Because in all honesty, it's not a book that's needed at all, and it does rehash a lot of stuff that's in the Codex, as you would expect from anything that's fluff-oriented. You can't just abandon your fluff and remake it in another book. But
yes, you can. You can because it's normal.
But the Imperial Knights Companion book's pretty cool. But the Codex is good. There's only 7 pages of rules in a 64-page Codex.
That's what I've been hearing.
But which is not a bad thing. It makes it very easy to jump in with these guys if you have a basic understanding of how 40K works. Which is good, because if you know nothing about Tyranids and you pick them up, that's a lot of rules to read. With these guys, the thing that I don't like about the Knights is not that there's only 2 variants that they have right now. I wish they did postpone it and have rules for all 4, but that's neither here nor there. It's the fact that their point cost is their point cost, and there's no war gear option upgrades, no special gear upgrades, especially considering in the Codex, one of the houses, it makes reference to a custom-built Knight Errant for the house leader. So, okay, what's custom about it? They don't say. And there's no way to represent it. Truly, they didn't really say anything. It could just look cool or whatever. But the big thing that bothers me is that it's heavy. They have a heavy stubber. The reason it bothers me is the heavy bolter has the same weapon range and is a better medium range weapon. Now, I get why it's a heavy stubber, because when you read their fluff and the origins of the Knights, it makes sense. But also with the Knights, new Knights are built in modern 40K timeline, and they have been upgraded and made better, so why not upgrade to a heavy bolter and actually be able to hurt infantry better?
Yeah, the heavy stubber was a little weird choice. And
the other thing that's kind of weird is the book makes mention how they're bristling with weapons. They got 3. It's like that's not really bristling in my opinion. But
no, that's like light dusting.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, the 3 weapons are more than adequate. These Knights can put a hurting on things, but it's just the heavy stubber looks cool, but I wish there was options to upgrade to a heavy bolter. I wish there was options for the Knight Errant to get even more specialized, because it's basically your anti-tank shooter with a big old melt blast weapon. And I know it's a thermal cannon, but think melt it and big blast, and you got the idea of how it works. And it would have been cool if they got like a mini, what's the laser destructor type of thing as an upgrade. Like it would have been cool to have that, something like a big old kill vehicle gun. Even better than it is.
Or maybe one of the old Heresy model weapons, like the lightning thing.
And it would have been cool if the Knight Paladin was...
Or the conversion beam, ooh.
That would have been cool, a big conversion beamer. And what would be cool is the Knight Paladin with the rapid-fire battle cannon, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Just the idea. It would have been cool if it got something, let's say, like a single-barrel Vulcan Mega Bolter or something like that, because it's more of the infantry shoot-up and horde shoot-up guy. It would have been cool if there was some upgrade options, just because the only difference between my pure Knight list and your pure Knight list would be how many Paladins versus Errants we take. That's the only difference. And I really like specializing and making things feel a bit more unique. I've also would have liked like special issue war gear or something like that, kind of how the Tau have battlesuit upgrades. If the Knight had something to maybe make the Ion Shield a better save, even though the Knight Seneschal, whatever his name is, gets a better Ion Shield save thing. But just little things here and there would have been cool. And that's why I would like a supplement that would basically introduce this. And the thing to go on about the Knights a little bit more, I'm going to actually try and do a little video overview of my thoughts on the Codex in earnest, but I like that it's not something that, hey, add some spikes to it and it's chaos. I like that it's pretty much just an Imperial thing. And they give a fluff explanation for it, which is good. Like, it's not spelled out saying this is why chaos no have. It's done. Yet just when you read it, you go, makes sense. But what's cool is
that is
the few. Basically, the Knights have a sense of duty, and the Knights are very loyal. It's very hard to make a Knight turn away from his duty. Part of that is the throwing mechanic when they sit in is actually part of a brainwashing effect to make them more loyal and honor bound and duty bound. And with that, the knights are very hard to sway. Only one knight household, as far as the fluff is written thus far, fell during the Horus Heresy.
Okay.
And it was swiftly after the Horus Heresy was done and the Emperor did his groove and everything.
Got his groove back.
Yeah, all the loyal knights basically hunted down this rogue knight house and virtually eliminated it. There's still there's lingering survivors of that house, but that's about it. Then later on, I believe another house fell to chaos, and same thing. The knights went, hey, that ain't cool, let's just stand on all our honor, and they virtually wiped them out too. The few knights that survived on the chaos side became possessed by demons and are referred to as demon knights. So if anything, if they really want to give chaos a version of this, they would have to make another mini codex called Codex Demon Knights. Which is what we've always had from Epic and everything, those demon knight things. And we almost kind of have it in that weird chaos model that already exists.
The Mauler Fiend?
Yeah, the whatever it's called.
The Mauler and the Forge Fiend?
No, the big thing. The big. Is it out? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. The big cornate thing.
Oh, the Lord of Skulls.
Yeah, the Lord of Skulls. I mean, it's not quite a demon knight, but it's
close. It's got a D-weapon close combat.
It's close, and it basically is a similar idea. It basically think that, and that's kind of what a demon knight would be of the different gods. So I like that it did that. And
for note, the crazy avatar is $89 and Fulgrim is $91.
So wait, a bigger model is less money?
I think it has to do with the A, number of parts, and B, that ridiculous stand, since he comes with 2 stands.
Yeah, and let's be serious. The Primarch is going to be infinitely more popular as a whole than the Avatar.
Yeah, especially since the Avatar is bigger than the one he's supposed to be, so everyone's like, I'm going to get the smaller one so he's harder to hit.
That's one thing I don't like about, rules the way they are, but at the same time, I completely understand it.
But it's the Avatar. It's supposed to just be a dude encased in a statue. I never saw him as big as they always made him look.
Well, the fluff is ambiguous on that. It really, I think, depends on the craft world and how they summon it. Because
possibly.
The dude's offered up as a sacrifice, and sometimes the statuesque throne thing he's offered up to is their size, and sometimes it's bigger. I guess it depends.
I think it depends on the craft world.
Yeah, I think it depends on the craft world, how much they loved Cain. They go, we're going to make a statue huge.
Well, it could be also the major, there's the minor craft worlds and the major craft worlds. The minor ones may have the smaller avatars, and the major ones may have the bigger ones.
Maybe, and maybe it depends on how warlike the craft world is.
Possibly. I assume B10 would have a pretty big one.
Yeah, it's actually, the craft world just sculpted as Cain.
It's just a walking cane, and they just shoot out of it.
Behold the Avatar. That's no Avatar.
That's a space station.
That's a world.
It's too big to be a space station.
But the other thing
just combined Star Wars with Eldar.
Yes. The other thing that's kind of weird about the Knights is they're big and they're a super heavy walker. But I've seen one next to a Wraith Knight, and the Wraith Knight's taller and slenderer. Yep. Which is fine. I still feel the Imperial Knight's a bigger model overall. It's much broader, more massive.
It is.
But I haven't seen it next to a Riptide.
No one's really... I think because the Riptide is smaller than the Wraith Knight, no one wants to compare it to it.
Yeah, but I mean, I wonder if... Because I've never seen a Riptide in person, or a Knight, or a Wraith Knight, but...
I have seen both.
But I wonder what the Imperial Knight is in relation to the Riptide.
The Riptide is a little shorter, and depending on the weapon configuration, it's got a little bit of bulk, but not as much as the Wraith, but not as much as the Knight.
Oh yeah, the Knight's definitely gonna win the bulky award. You know what's funny? Yeah. To me, it for all of its bulkiness and I mean, the look first off has grown on me. Originally, I was kind of like, that's all right, but the look has grown on me. But as bulky as it is, I can picture it walking and maneuvering and being as agile as its fluff says it is, more so than the Centurion Squad.
Like, yo, bro, I heard you like power armor, so I put power armor in your power armor so you could power armor while you're power armoring.
Exactly, but it's like, I see the Knights as being way more agile than the Centurion squad. It's kind of sad, but
a little, just a bit, just a bit.
Yeah, also I thought I was gonna dislike the Free Blades. I actually like the concept; they're pretty cool. I honestly, when I really want to make just a 4 to 5 Knight army, and that's it, and pop on the table up and be like, "What's up?"
There are people at the local hobby shop planning on doing that.
Honestly, it's not overpowered as it may seem in concept.
No.
Because the Knights have a huge glaring weakness. Aircraft.
Yeah, they have no skyfire.
They have no way. I mean, could they hit a plane if they got lucky?
A heavy stopper? Yeah, if they got lucky.
Yeah.
But it's a heavy stopper.
Yeah. But, they could...
Oh, but the one has 2.
Yeah, it does. And it could get lucky and knock down a plane or hit it or something. But really, what you're relying on against aircraft is you're placing the ion shield where you want it, and hoping to God that if you fail your ion shield check, that they aren't able to hurt you, and that your 6 hull points last the game.
Now, here's an interesting question that you bring that up: the ion shield. On the turn that you're affected, when you get to move it, you either do left, right, front, or front to place the shield. Now, a barrage weapon against a vehicle always does damage to side armor. How would you determine if he gets the ion shield save or not?
See, that's a tough call. I was thinking about this with ion shields, and the way I would think on it is, for some weapons, like, it's hard to say, but I would say the ion shield is kind of like this big deflecting thing. And I would say if you place the ion shield in the line of fire, in terms of if it's in front of you and you have the ion shield in the front, I would say that could work. However, if it's made against side armor,
that's what I was like. If you say I'm putting it on the right side and you get hit by a barrage weapon, how do you determine if it's the right or the left side?
Oh, at that point, I just say it doesn't. It's just side armor. You know, you get it. Because to help back this up, the rules with fluff is the fluff of it is the ion shield is controlled by the Knight pilot's mind to instantly go where he wants it. So you could say that he just deflected the shot, because it's not really a shield. It's more like, think of it as a literal shield that deflects things.
But the conundrum comes up on the fact that in the enemy shooting phase, you must pick if it's his left or his right. You can't have it be just side armor.
Right, but I mean, if you pick a side, I would say it counts against barrage, which just uses side armor. You know, it's not so much picking. It's not like it's picking a side. It's just it represents blowing up. Well, for vehicles that are tanks, it represents blowing up on the thinner top armor, which would represent a side. So I would say in that case, because it's not actively targeting a side, that I would say you get it personally. Like if I was shooting a barrage weapon at you and you did that, I would say you get it, because my weapon special rule does not specify a side. So as long as you got a side, I think you're good.
I would argue also that it also can be argued with the blast template, because sometimes it does deviate. So if it's deviated to the left side, then obviously the explosion is more on the left than the right.
Yeah, I would say with deviation.
But if it's like on a downward, like down in the center, I always argued, well, you roll for it. You know, odds, evens.
I would say.
But that's just me.
Like, if I was shooting at a Knight with a blast weapon and it's scattered, and I'd say, you know, I'm shooting at him from the front, so he puts his ion shield in the front, and the blast weapon scatters, I would say that he still gets his save.
Well, that's an argument, because with a regular blast weapon, it's always point of shot. The conundrum came in with barrages, because barrages always do side regardless.
I would honestly, see, it's a weird thing that the FAQ will have to address, but in my opinion, the way I would do it, that's why I first said it. Now that I'm getting a better understanding of what we're asking, is if you're I know it's not point of shot based, But if you're in front of me and you shoot me with that and it scatters to wherever, and even though it's supposed to do side, well, let me reverse that. If I'm the guy shooting at the knight, I would say he put his armor his ion shield in the front. I would say he gets it as a save. If it fails, then it hits side armor as opposed to front. But I would say wherever the weapon is where the ion shield gets the save is there.
Even if it's against the barrage weapon that does only do side.
Yeah, because I think it's picking side armor as weak armor, but it's not impacting from the side. It's actually impacting from the top. And so I would say it depends. For me personally, if I was playing against the knight, or if I was the knight, but I feel people will be more accepting playing against the knight because then it's against me. If I had a barrage weapon that was like faced at his side and he put side armor up there, or put the ion shield up that side, he gets it. If I'm in the front and they shoot and he has the ion shield in the front, he would get it. In my opinion, it based on where the weapon is, because it's projecting a big slab of ion that basically blocks the knight. So I could see it just kind of like tilting it upwards to block the top. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like I would just for ease, I would do it as every other weapon, point of origin of the weapon, because it just makes it easier. And the benefit of it is, if I fail that ion save, you hit side armor. That's the rule of the weapon. That's how I would rule it. And but obviously an official FAQ errata will explain it better. But I feel if you just go with like everything else, which is point of origin of the weapon. So if the weapon's on the left side, I have it in the front. Oh well, there I go. But if it's on the same side as the weapon of origin, I think you should get your ion save. That's just me, though. Just because I'm simple-minded. I like to keep things simple. But
you hear that first? He calls himself a simpleton.
I'm a simple kind of man. But I also find it funny that flyers / Necrons are the biggest weakness for these guys. Yeah. Because it states in the rules that things that would, let's say, auto glance on a certain roll still do. At least I'm 95% sure. So it's kind of like, hey, glance to death by Necron Gauss flares. Fantastic. But
it still gets completely to death.
Yeah, but I mean, you just put your ion shield in the mass concentration, and the thing
though you do get the benefit of the fact that you can't lose your weapons or anything.
Yeah, but at that point, if you glance me 17 times, I'm gone.
Yeah,
but
it's true.
The nice thing about that, though, is that their shortest range is the range of the heavy stubber, and the thermal cannon has the same range as that. So that's longer range than the bulk of weapons that would be on the field for Necrons. So you just keep your distance. But
keep your distance and stay on target.
Basically, you got to stay on target. Now,
always.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say. Not because they used to have weapons that weren't just chain blades. I think it'd been really cool if they had a secondary close combat weapon. It works exactly the same, but I think it'd look cool if it had a fist. Just because, fist.
Yeah, you would figure a fist would be more logical if these things were used for like buildings and such. They'd give it a fist to pick things up instead of let's put chains on that giant stick and hope it lifts it.
Well, they were modified from those tasks to pure warfare, which is why they probably got, to do that. But they also used their gigantic chain swords, their Reaper blades, to do forestry.
Saw wood.
So, like, man, could they clear a forest? Oh, they got this. You want wood?
So, what's that guy, John Henry Irons? That was his name.
But you know what's funny?
What?
I would be tempted to paint them up in John Deere colors, because they do forestry.
John Deere.
Because they do forestry.
It is true.
I'd be like, I got this. You want the forest down? We got this.
Boom. And speaking randomly of things, as you know, I was at Anime Boston.
Yes.
I was at the Boston. By the Boston Harbour.
You had to park the car?
Yeah, I had to park the car in the parking garage. I apologize to any of our viewers who live in Boston.
But you sound like that.
I can't say for sure. I didn't talk to any.
Bostonites?
I didn't talk to anybody who was from Boston, so
Is it
I
Bostonites
apologize.
or Bostonians?
I think it's Bostonians is what they call them.
Okay.
Do you know? No, the camera girl does not know. Yes, we are filming this via camera. She's holding it up against that picture that you see on the YouTube page.
It's a very steady shot.
Very. She's mastered the art of Steadicam. But anyway, I managed to purchase a piece of Gundam history.
Yes. Yes, you have.
Yes, I now own an animation cell of Tifa from Gundam X.
Now I know where she's from. Because in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, she can be an operator for you. And
yeah.
I'm like, what universe are you from?
She's a new type.
Okay.
And her thing was that she sat in the cockpit with, in Double X with the pilot. And when the moon was out, she would basically pray, and the satellite system would then turn on and shoot its beam at the Gundam X to have it use the satellite cannon.
Okay. I get it now. It's just
because only new types could use the satellite system.
Right. I just never understood where she was from.
She came from, yeah.
And randomly, you know what Gundam show I've never really seen advertised as like on YouTube or stuff like that? Turn a Gundam.
Turn a Gundam.
I don't really like Turn a Gundam.
I saw one episode, and it was horrible. It was this episode where I think it was like the beginning or something. They're doing like a ritual, and the guy is naked. And he gets into the cockpit, and so he's in the Gundam nude. And then all of a sudden, this chief girl comes and sits on his lap, and the very first thing he says is, "It moved." And she responds with, "Impossible." And I'm just like,
yeah, that's funny. But it's just like, first off, the Gundam Turn A, or whatever it's called, I don't like the look of it that much. They call them what? Dolls? Mobile dolls?
Something like that. I didn't even
Not like Gundam Wing, which mobile dolls are pilotless things. But it's like, you know, like it was something doll. Like your white doll or whatever it is for the Gundam. It looked weird. The main character is very androgynous. Like, Laura and Sayhak could be confused for a chick if you didn't hear the voice. And, also, Turn X is weird, which is like the big villain. And the weirdest thing is Turn X has a shining finger. And I was like, when I first heard it in the game, I had to look it up, because I was like, did he just say this is the power of the shining finger? Because he's not in Shining Gundam. What's going on here? And apparently he has a weapon called Shining Finger. And the weird thing is, like, they're from the moon or whatever it is, or something like that, something to do with the moon. And it looks, and the limited piece of fragmentary information I could piece together that made sense is that some of these suits were excavated. Like, these are ancient. Like, they're supposed to take place in the timeline, like, far, far in the future. And the theory is that this shining finger of Turn X could be just his own shining finger, or a weapon system he adopted from the shining finger excavation. And
interesting.
But it's weird. Yeah, it doesn't really say which century it's in.
Yeah.
But it's the idea is that from what I understand, there are excavations of mobile suits in it, and it's confusing. So that's just remind me when you said Tifa.
Speaking of that, I've been watching the new Gundam Build Fighter.
Yeah.
And that's actually really good. And oh man, the other references to other Gundam shows. Like, there was, in one episode alone, there was one episode where Rain just randomly appears in her G Gundam suit, and she's an announcer for a Gunpla battle. You see Kid Domon with Kyoji and their parents building a burning Gundam, or God Gundam technically.
Yeah.
In one fight, the main character's Gundam does the Gundam pose from G Gundam when they go and they fight in the fight until one is standing. He does that pose that the Gundam's doing. There's some Gundam X references. There's a Char who's called the Crimson Comet.
But that's his Char is a red comet, so it's basically
yeah. And he slicks back his hair whenever he's about to fight. And you're like, what? Then he pilots a red Zaku. Well, I shouldn't play pilot plays, because they're all toys. They have, there was just so much, they even bring in the giant RX-74 statue that exists.
I want to see that so bad.
And in the show, they went, and look, to celebrate, they built an exact replica of the Char's, of Zaku to go with it. And they have them standing next to each other.
But no, I really like the fact that they got the Gundam Hotel and a hotel, and they got that big thing. They got a big Gundam, like, museum. With, they got a one-to-one built original Gundam. And then inside the museum, they have, it's not I don't think it's full, but I've seen pictures of it. It's a one-to-one Strike Freedom. But it's not like the full Strike Freedom. It's like the upper torso and part of the lower torso and like the wing. But it's its actual size. Like, it's crazy that they did this, and I really want to visit it. But I haven't been able to play since I moved down to North Carolina. I'm going to try to get back up in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. But I have to say, it's the best. I haven't played 4 because it's only in Japan. But 3 is fantastic. I unlocked Trey's Kushranada, I unlocked Troa, and I was in Heavy Arms. It's the weirdest thing, beating people with your double cannon and kicking them, but that's because it's a melee-driven game. But he handles just like Troa handles Heavy Arm, which is very acrobatic. And like his ultimate attack is basically alpha striking with all of his weapons. But Death Sight is in there. Death Sight Hell Custom, whatever it is. Not the one, not custom, just Death Sight Hell from Wing, not Endless Waltz. Of course, Wing Zero is in there. Once you unlock Wing Zero, that rest of that story arc becomes easy mode. Because Wing Zero is ridiculously powerful. Like, Setsuna F-Sei, his 00 Riser that you get to pilot is also pretty strong, but Wing Zero is really strong if you double tap because you can, like, booster move to move quicker than walking. Yeah. It's a temporary thing. When you double tap that and hold it down, Wing Zero transforms into plane mode, flies faster for longer than other Gundams do just boosting. And then all of his, like, combos, most of his combos end with him firing his double busters or whatever, and it's just ridiculous. And the more SP, the more special bars you have full, the longer he fires it. Which I've taken down an enemy Gundam that appears I had to kill because I have him up to 3 bars now, and they were all full. And like I cut him a few times, and I went right into special when his block was broken, and I killed him with the special alone, like just the full attack. And if you combo with somebody, he does the classic arms out on both sides and spins around with the double buster.
Yes, that's a classic move from the Dynasty Warriors game for him.
Yeah, and it's such a good idea of a move when you have guns that kill everything. It really is, but he's very strong. The Gundam I'm most disappointed with is Strike Freedom. He's strong, but his special attack is he combines both of his regular beam rifles to do a little bit of a beam cannon shot. Yeah. I'm like, but why wouldn't you shoot with the everything that you have?
Yeah, because it's weird, because, like, usually his big stick is just firing all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his main cannons together. Like, the big cannon thing is usually just I gotta blow up that carrier.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, and this is just the two rifles that he combines in the one shot. It's not even that's his ultimate, weapon. That's, like, his satellite cannon. Yeah, but it's so ineffective in the game because it doesn't have the range of, let's say, the Buster Cannon or the damage. It's actually pretty short range and doesn't last that long, and it's not that strong.
That's weird because in the show it's like his most powerful gun.
I know, but he has the center gun, he has all of his wing shots, and he has the 4 cannons that he normally has, whatever it is, plus his guns. Why doesn't he just do that whole thing where he just fires them all in front of him?
That is weird.
Like, it's plus his central cannon. It's weird because his combo if you unlock your special as a chain with another NPC on your side who's ready to do his special, you do a different special. That's why Wing Zero does the spin. What he does is he launches all of his funnels and does multiple shots with his funnels everywhere. Which I'm like, why couldn't you shoot the everything? Yeah. The only time he shoots the everything is when he's a partner and you call him in to do one special shot. I'm like, but I want to shoot the everything.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is a bit weird. Also, Infinite Justice is not he's not bad, but it's definitely not the Gundam for me. He plays too weird. Everything is such short-range slicing attacks.
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's a very close combat dude.
It's very weird how he works. New Gundam, my god.
New Gundam?
Yeah, New Gundam is what Amuro Ray eventually pilots during, I believe, when he fights Char again and by that asteroid, like the final fight or whatever.
In Char's counterattack?
Yeah. I think. It's the one that has, like, gigantic funnels on one side of it. That's New Gundam.
I'm gonna check this guy out.
New Gundam is ridiculously strong.
I know him. You know what's actually really good? Thanks to Build Fighter, all of these Gundams are coming back in model kits. Like, I found them, they redid, they did an Endless Waltz version of Tall Geese.
Nice.
They brought back Master Grade God and Master Gundam. X is out. Wing is out.
That's
a lot of the old classics are coming back, and there actually are building what is it? They actually have built the built versions, so you can actually customize them.
Nice. See, like, there's 4 different factions in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. And it looks like 2 of them will team up, and then you have 2 enemies. You know what I mean? So while there's 4, it basically turns into 2 sides of a story. And the weird thing is, Lacus Klein is also a pilot of Infinite Justice on one section, and it's just weird in the game, even though she did pilot it once just to get it into the atmosphere. The other weird thing is Schwartz Bruder pilots God Gundam.
Schwartz Bruder.
I don't know.
Oh, that just reminded me. Gundam Maxter is in the show. There's a race episode and he's in it. I'm like, and one Gundam builds Fushigi and rides off in it.
Nice, but it's just like Schwartz, because I saw Schwartz Bruder's face pop up and he was talking. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll have to fight against Shadow Gundam. No, he's in Burning Gundam. I'm like, what? All right. But, whatever. And that's the only thing that was weird. Other than that, like, Trey's pilots Tall Geese 2, and Tall Geese 2 is a fantastic suit to pilot. It does a really good job.
Does it now?
Yeah, it's because it has a big beam attack for its special, but it's stronger than Freedom, so it actually works well, which is weird. And he also has like this like fencing stabbing attack where he stabs the guy multiple times. If you mash the buttons, he keeps stabbing for a preset amount of time.
Okay.
It works pretty well, but he's just a cool thing to use. It's cool because he's not teamed up with Char. He's teamed up with Full Frontal, who's like the other Char. But
yes,
too many.
The other Char.
Too many of them. Miliardo's in there, and Epion, of course, and Master Gundam's in it. And his attacks are really powerful. Because he's Master Gundam, I guess. But I haven't. The thing is, I've played for a decent amount of time with a lot of these guys. I haven't unlocked everybody yet. There's a lot. I haven't unlocked half. Like, there's a lot in there.
Here's Wing Gundam from Build Gundam.
Cool. And the thing that's pretty cool is like, it's green, but it looks.
And
good.
the wings are on one side.
Yeah, the wings are on one side, but it does look pretty good.
He's pretty ballin' in the show.
Cool. There's also like you get plans for mobile suits, so you can build a pilot just a regular Zaku if you wanted to, or a Rick Dom, or a Rick Dias, or you could get the Dark Army's regular thing.
That's cool.
Which I don't know who has the big circle mobile suit as like their version of a Zaku, but they're in there. It's okay. It's weird. I wish Leos were in there. They're not. I love the Leo. It's an internet meme because they got blown up so much in Gundam Wing that the whole joke is that you could poke it and it would blow up. But they were also pretty rugged. Like
Leos.
I miss the Leos, but it's cool because all these generic mobile, like you could build a ball and pilot a ball. I don't know why you want to pilot the ball, but because
why not? It's the ball.
But it's not bad. So if anybody has a PS3, it's definitely the best of the 3 here in the US so far. The Samurai Gundam from SD, I think he can actually pilot him in this one now. Because in non-chibi form, in actual cool looking form. And it always looked cool, but in like Dynasty Warriors Gundam 1, it was just the bad guy. You can never pilot it. I always wanted to try it out, but everything is F91 there.
Back.
I've never seen F91.
Nice.
Like the show, Unicorn Gundam's in there, and he's pretty ballin' too. In short, it's all really cool. But once I unlocked the Wing Zero, I'm like, okay, this story arc, I am just playing Wing Zero, obviously, because he is probably my all-time favorite Gundam. I like big Heavy Arms is a close second. But the thing I like about Wing Zero is that they basically gambled him. They went, let's see, the Wing has a Buster Cannon with 3 shots. All right, so Wing Zero will give him 2 and give him unlimited shots. It's like, all right, I'm not gonna complain. So Strike Freedom is actually something. I don't like the Seed series that much, but I really like the Strike Freedom. I like aesthetically, it's a good redo of original Gundam because all of the main title Gundams are just the redo of regular Gundam. They have the most white in them. They got the blue and stuff in them. Like Destiny was also a redo, but aside from his cool little wing shtick, I'm not a fan of Destiny. But Destiny's in there. What the heck is this thing?
That is Camphor Amazing from Build Gundam.
What is Camphor originally from?
Camphor is from 0080.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 0080.
Yeah, I remember Camphor now. Because I've never seen the show, but actually I've seen bits and pieces.
Oh, good. I've seen the ending, and I was like, this is awesome and sad.
Is 0080 just 0080, or is that Stardust Memory?
Well, no, I think I'm thinking 0083.
0083, right.
0083 is the one that takes place on the space colony. Okay. 0080 is in the same universe.
Yeah, the Universal Century has a lot of shows in it. It has the most. It has War in a Pocket, Stardust Memory, Unicorn Gundam.
There's the Crimson Comet.
If only Zaku's actually had that.
That's part of what's called the build package. Yeah. You buy a regular build Gundam, and then you buy these support packages that you can then attach to them to customize them out.
Cool. All I gotta say is, the only 2 things I haven't built, neither of them are Gundams, and they're both up in Long Island. I have a Gelgoog that's in pieces still. Char's Gelgoog. I have Char's Zaku, and I have him posed where he's got his gun out on one hand. He's kneeling down. He's got the bazooka on his back, and he has his axe in his other hand, like he just drew it out. It's a cool pose for a Zaku. And then I have Tallgeese. Now, I bought the Tallgeese 2/Tallgeese 3 kit, but I converted it into Tallgeese 1. I painted over the blue and everything. I made it all black and white like it's supposed to. And I redid everything, and I made it Tallgeese 1. Because I'm a huge fan of the original Tallgeese. Tallgeese 2 was a close second. 3 was cool, but 3 had a little bit too much going on. So I made Tallgeese 1 out of it.
3 was Tallgeese and Evian combined, correct?
Basically. Yeah. But, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, I just figured if anybody hasn't picked up Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3, they should. And if you're looking at Gundam Crossfire, be prepared for a lot of aggravation, but it's a game that's pretty good. You don't pilot Gundams, you pilot the other mobile suits. It's basically the equivalent, think of 8th MS Team, and that's the level of the game. Only in it, you're not the 8th MS Team. But you can play on either side. The story doesn't change. You just get to play through the battles on either side and have access to either side's tech, obviously. But it's pretty cool. But yeah, what the heck is that?
That is Star Build Strike.
Okay.
That is one of the main characters' Gunplas that he builds, custom made. That energy wing thing is one of its special moves. And it actually has what's called this. It has this one ability called Build Knuckle, and it's basically Shining Finger if it was a fist.
So it's Burning Knuckle from Streets of Rage.
Basically.
Nice. That's perfect. I forgot, playing the game and seeing these other anime shows for Gundams, I forgot how blatant some of the references are. Like, Turn A has, like, a double flail, and that, because original Gundam had a flail. I forgot Gundam had a flail, because you don't see many Gundams with flails anymore.
No. Usually it's villains that they give them, like the side villains that are taken down in one hit.
Basically. But the references are abound, and the Harrows are a reference to original Gundam because there was one green Harrow.
Yep.
And it actually walked around. Because when you see the Harrows bouncing around, they open up, you see they actually have arms and legs in there that usually never come out, especially in Seed. But originally that's how it got up and down stairs. It would do that. But, it's I don't know. It's a fun little thing. And Turn A, no, you know what, not Turn A. Build Fighter, I'm wondering if this was like, I don't know about Japanese culture with Gunpla stuff, but I wonder if the show was thought about, like, I wonder if that happened before the show, if people actually custom Gundams up.
From what I'm seeing online and everything, it did. Like, I think the show was basically kind of built around the idea of people custom building their Gunpla models, and just taking it to an extreme, and it went, well, what if there was another level where they could actually fight with those Gunplas?
Yeah, because I would have to think that there might have been at least a small group of people doing that, but I wonder if it was popular enough to obviously spawn a show. Because, I mean, I did it, all I did was turn Tall Geese 2 into Tall Geese 1, and I was ready to throw the bottle across the room when I was done with it because of the frustration. I can only imagine custom building your own Gundam from Gunpla stuff.
Yeah. Like, apparently and then there's, like, people who, like, they sand the edges down so there's no seam lines, and, like, it's even just down to how crazy detail they get with just building a stock Gundam.
Yeah.
And, like, in the show, it's great, like, this one dude had a shield, and they're like, he reinforced it with plastic card. So wait, he put a piece of plastic behind the shield, so now the shield in the battle is, like, hard as super steel.
Nice. That's funny. I like that. Okay, the show, I haven't watched it yet, but from the sound of it...
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. Gundam Info has it.
Yep. I'm just waiting for the final episode.
That's pretty cool. See, that's another thing. I can't. I have to wait till like almost all of it's uploaded, so I can just not get up to something. Yep. I have to wait.
There's 25 episodes in total, and there's 24 right now available.
That's cool. To switch gears, for those of you who play the game, you know that the expansion for Diablo 3 came out.
Yep. I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played the expansion.
I wasn't very interested in Diablo 3 after the game came out.
I'm a big fan of that world. It's one of my favorite fantasy worlds because of how dark it is. And it's not like... That
I will agree with.
It's not dark like 40K has, and Warhammer Fantasy has a certain realm of dark to it. It's not dark like there's corruption at every turn. It's dark as things dying. Everybody's
dying, things out there that'll kill you.
Yeah, it's like the world is pretty much screwed is the darkness level of Diablo, and I like that. But I bought Diablo 3's expansion collector's edition because whenever Blizzard makes a collector's edition, I buy it. They're probably the best collector's editions out there.
Because you're a consumer whore when it comes to collector's editions.
It is, but I know Blizzard always does a good collector's edition. Like
they do.
So I'm always confident in purchasing one of those. But it's being shipped down from Long Island to North Carolina because I don't know where I was going to be when it came out. So I haven't been able to play it yet, or the Crusader yet, although the Crusader is what I wanted from the get-go. But I have been playing my Demon Hunter, and they've revamped Diablo 3 a lot, actually. Like, they did difficulty levels. It's no longer normal, nightmare, hell, and everything like that. It's normal, hard, master, and then torment, and torment's level 1 through 4.
Okay.
And aside from just being harder, they give you EXP and gold boosts. So it makes it a bit easier to level up and quicker, which is nice. And they've done stuff akin to Borderlands when it comes to item drops and difficulty in playing in the game, where it's based around. It's not so much like Nightmare isn't just hard isn't just a set difficulty. I mean, it kind of is, but it also scales it based on your level. So you could actually solo it if you want to play through it by yourself and not go, this is impossible. But all in all, good things. But it came out, and I've been playing it with my Demon Hunter because it raised the level cap to 70. Originally it was 60. But since it's still 60 for me because I don't have the expansion loaded yet, after you max out your level, there's Paragon levels. So Paragon levels, what they do is basically you get to pick certain things that kind of boost you. The thing is, the guy you're playing as doesn't get the boost even though you picked him because he actually has to gain a level. So my Demon Hunter's level 60. He's not really gaining his Paragon level stuff, even though he's allocating the points and everything. He doesn't get it because he hasn't actually gone to. Really, I just saw the picture you put up, but he hasn't actually gone to level 61, so he's not getting the boost that I'm giving him. But it's account based, so all of your characters get these boosts. So you make a level 1 character, he I believe starts off having Paragon levels that you can assign right away. So I'm kind of building up my Paragon level until I get the expansion, so when I build a Crusader, he'll be stronger off the bat. Which is kind of cool. And I don't know, I think you might agree with me here, but the angels in Diablo 3 are some of the best looking angels in all of, like, Angeldom.
They're pretty cool. I do like them.
Like, they're really freaking cool. Imperius, I mean, I've always liked Tyrael, but Imperius, I think, is tied for coolest looking Diablo angel. He's the one with the orange wings and everything in the game. But,
yeah. He's
really cool. And I came to the conclusion, and I was talking with the Stark Lord the other day about this, well, texting, not talking. But, and I was saying, you know, what needs to happen is, I don't know if Blizzard will do it or somebody else. This basically has to take how Diablo plays overall. Diablos 1 through 3. Just look at that and make a sci-fi game that plays almost exactly the same. And I mean, in terms of the isometric view and, you know, the click and slash and everything like that. Because people say Borderlands is like a sci-fi Diablo, but it's more like a first-person thing. And it's not really what I'm looking for. I would love to have a sci-fi game that plays just like Diablo 2, 3, whatever it does, but is sci-fi oriented and like
that would be
has
fun.
A decent storyline. I don't know. I'm not so much surprised by it because most sci-fi stuff goes in the first-person mode if it's not going to be strategy. So I don't know, because not much sci-fi has really happened to really stir my fancy. You know, not much has come out in my opinion. And speaking of that, I finished Storm of Vengeance. It just kind of ends, which is not. I mean, I knew this would probably be the final battle because the final battle is basically like repel these guys from the city or whatever. And after you're done, it has Belial talking to Azrael. So I kind of got a sense that it was done because basically the whole game is waiting for the rest of the chapter to arrive. But I mean, there wasn't any cinematics at all to the game. I mean, there's not gonna be, based that it's a mobile device as well as a computer game. But it just kind of ended. Not bad. I feel like even though they haven't done an official game update news release, I feel like the HUDs got toned down because no longer is it like instant kill and death, and it takes a lot longer than to do stuff, where I fought against 5 of them and I was able to overcome it. Like, they actually feel like they toned them down a bit. So good job to them. Because, wow. And it looks like they did a minor graphical update too, so it looks better.
Nice.
Yep. So that's your Storm of Vengeance update of the week. Probably the last one because I'm done with it.
He's done. He's no longer playing it ever again. He's done.
Well, here's a question. Is it still listed as being in the beta stages?
I don't know. Let me go take a look here.
I think it still is. Yeah, it's still listed as a beta. Kinda.
The plot thickens.
Well, it's weird, because it says Warhammer 40k Storm of Vengeance, then next was the Storm of Vengeance beta. Then it says early access to the game, which makes you think it's still in beta. But then it says buy Warhammer 40k Storm of Vengeance, but it doesn't say beta. So I'm assuming it's still beta mode, because it says early access.
Let's see. I'm checking to see what Steam says. Storm of Vengeance. It's still listed as beta.
Yeah.
On this.
And there's still a lot of negative.
Coming this spring.
Gotcha. There's still a lot of negative for the game, and I don't I don't understand why. It's not. I mean, it is what it is.
Everyone is hating on it because they hope if they hate on it enough, Dawn of War 3 will be made.
Guess what? Not going to happen.
No.
A little something called bankruptcy and being dissolved happened to the company that did it.
Sega does own it, but that doesn't mean they'll do anything.
Yeah, all it means is that we'll see Sonic in it.
Yeah.
Which he's a mutant we must track down and eliminate.
That's going to be a side mission.
Hunt down Sonic.
Yes, you're going to have to hunt down Sonic, and he'll be a greater demon of... Oh, what would he be a greater demon of?
I was just going to say he was a mutant, but I don't know.
He's got speed, and he loves chili dogs.
And he can go supersonic.
So I guess he would be Slaneshi.
I guess, but I mean, the Slaneshi...
But he's blue.
He is blue, and he can turn into a supersonic.
Yeah, which is gold.
And he does have to get the Chaos Emeralds.
So that's magic-y. So he's kind of got like a cross between Zenich and Slanesh, it seems like.
Maybe he's a hybrid. Maybe he's a demon prince of the two.
He could be a being that's blessed by both.
Yeah, kind of like how Abaddon's blessed by 4. He could be blessed by 2.
Yeah.
Put in the comments, Fearless Gamers.
What do you think? Did we really just decide to classify Sonic as a chaos demon of some sort?
Honestly, it makes kind of sense. Think about it. He has to collect the Chaos Emeralds.
He does. Which would kind of be maybe, I guess, a Zenich thing, because Zenich is collecting those shards of the staff.
Yeah, and they are magic-y, because they do turn him into an enhanced being of himself.
Yeah.
And Knuckles does want to keep them as is. He doesn't really... He has Hyper Knuckles, but doesn't really do anything.
And he's all broody and punchy.
He's more like Corn.
Yeah.
So what's Tails?
Tails is orange, and he flies a lot.
He's a thinker and he's a tinkerer.
I guess that counts as Zenich.
Yes, so who would be Nurgle in this?
No, I can't really think of any Sonic character that would be Nurgle-y.
Me either.
Because none of them ever are sick.
Yeah, but I was also thinking like overly jovial, but I can't think of anybody who's really overly jovial. Except for maybe Dr. Robotnik. But he's just really happy because he's trying to enslave the world.
Yeah,
and he doesn't really
count. He does have a lot of minions that worship him.
And he does transform creatures into robots.
Which could be kind of a disease.
Yeah.
So I guess Robotnik's Nurgle.
Yeah.
Or Dr. Eggman, depending on your preference.
Yeah, your preference. That just happened, Fearless Gamer.
Yes, that did just happen.
Alright, I don't think
you heard it. You can't unhear it.
No.
And with that, I think we are out of time. I agree.
Yeah, we can't top what we just said.
Okay. So, thank you all for watching and listening, Fearless Gamers. Let us know what you think about the Ion Shield with the Imperial Knight and the Sonic cast as Chaos Demons.
Alright.
Okay, so until next time, Fearless Gamers, this is Matt the Bat.
Thanks for the wild card.
Saying take care.
Peace.